Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Katie.
And Happy New Year. We are so happy that you're here.
It's the new year!
It's a very wet New Year. This has been the
the
wettest.
rainiest, last week.
This might be the rainiest year since I've moved to California. Granted, we're only 3 days in, but
that's more rain than we usually get. It rained the tail end of last week, so it rained for the end of 2022.
Yep.
It also rained on New Year's Eve.
It poured on New Year's Eve.
It poured on New Year's Eve. It was delightful.
It rained so hard that my Christmas lights stopped working, and they're still not working exactly right. But that's okay.
And then it's rained, I think, every day of the year so far.
Every day of the year. In California, it has rained.
It's pretty crazy.
That never happens.
Today it's been very fun. It's been very steady. And it hasn't been heavy for the most part. It's just been like light sprinkles.
Yeah.
But steady light sprinkles.
But it's been nice. It was funny because I went into the parks on Sunday with Tracy, and we didn't really have any plans whatsoever. But we show up, it's like 2 o'clock, and we're like, oh, the parade starts right now. I guess we could watch it because there was space, whatever. Yeah. So I'm standing in Town Square, and I'm looking up, and we kind of get a spot that's, it's okay, whatever. And I'm looking up at the sky, and I'm like, Tracy, I think it's going to rain. And this is probably like 2:10.
Okay.
And
the parade was at 2:30?
And everybody's like, no, it's not. The parade started at 2.
Oh, okay.
So it's 2:10. And I'm like,
so
I feel like, I feel
off.
like it's going to rain. And she's like, well, her app was like, nope, it's 3:30 is when it says it's going to rain, which I wasn't prepared for any rain because when I left the house, no rain was in the forecast.
That's also been happening a lot.
Every day. Like, it wasn't supposed to rain this afternoon, and it rained all day.
Yeah.
Like, it was only supposed to be this morning. So I'm like, no, I feel it. Like, I think it's going to rain. And so then she checked her app again, and it says 2:30. In the time it took from the parade to get from Main Street down to basically we're at the train station, it started sprinkling, and then about a third of the way through, it started actually raining. And by the end of the parade, it was actually raining. And then 5 minutes after, or maybe even less than that, after the parade ended, it stopped raining and the blue sky was coming out again.
Wow.
It was very funny. It's amazing how all the people on skates disappear so fast. It was a very amusing parade.
Plane.
And then Roger and Tracy were both in the park last night. And second parade, they did entirely in the rain also without Santa's float. Like, it's been a weird...
Santa can't fly in the rain.
No. I don't know what happened to his float, but that was very interesting and fun. And we're about to get another storm from what I understand, so...
Yeah. It's also... obviously it's storming everywhere. It's really funny. I have a friend that's actually flying into Minnesota tomorrow, whose flight has already been delayed. And I was texting her and I was like, I heard it's storming over in Minnesota. And she's like, oh yeah, my flight's gotten delayed. The storm is hitting really bad. I was like, you know what? I'll take our rain. I don't really love
I saw a
snow.
picture of my friend's driveway in Duluth, Minnesota, and packed with snow. It's gorgeous, but...
And she's heading to the southern part of Minnesota.
So hopefully not as... Yeah, we'll see.
The northern part of Minnesota. But
exactly.
Either way...
It's an adventure.
Minnesota scares me. And I have talked to Mr. Daps about, I'd love someday to, see where you grew up, see the things you talk about. And I said, but I just don't really want to go during winter because I'm not a negative degree person.
But it is fun.
And then you were like, okay, well, your choices are negative degree or get eaten by mosquitoes. That's it.
That's basically it.
And I was like, oh, well, neither of those options sound appealing.
They aren't. Like, it's beautiful. It just, there's a cost for all of the beauty.
Yeah. I think,
yeah. 10,000 lakes, 10 million mosquitoes, or 10 below zero, if you're lucky.
I don't know. None of that, the lakes sound fine, but the snow? The mosquitoes?
All that fun stuff.
I have lived in Southern California for 26 years, and that is apparent to everybody.
I actually will wear, that leather jacket I have. I have worn basically another one that I had before that in the winter in Minnesota and not felt as cold as I will on a winter day here in the same jacket, because cold in Minnesota it's frozen, so it's not like piercing you.
Yeah.
Whereas here you've got an ocean right there, and it feels way worse.
Which I have said a million times, when we went to Dallas and it was like 20 degrees, I was
way more comfortable.
But here it's 60 or it's 65 and I get out of bed and I'm like in pain because it is so cold.
So my question is, when it rains, going back to the rain at Disneyland thing, what is your favorite thing to do? Just one in the rain at Disneyland. Let us know in the comments too.
Cars land at night.
Cars land at night. Okay, that is a good one.
It's gorgeous.
Hopefully I get to do that tomorrow night.
Like, it is so pretty.
It is. And I would
yours?
say mine is, so normally if it's actually, this might work. I would say the Mark Twain at night is awesome, or the steam trains. Because you go by, steam trains may be a little bit ahead just because you can hear the rain coming down when you stopped, but we'll see. They're both very good and fun. All right, well, let's move on. We have a lot of things to cover tonight. The big news that came out this morning is runDisney is returning to the Disneyland Resort, which we already knew that it was coming back at some point. Like, that's not new news. But we now know that it's next January. I believe the 11th through the 14th.
14th, I think is
Yeah,
what it is.
is the Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend, which is weird to me that they dropped Resort. Like, that's because it's the Walt Disney World Resort.
It's the Walt Disney Resort Half Marathon.
Yeah, but
I just slurred all those words.
But it's the Disneyland Half Marathon, which I just don't get that. So my big question for the world and everybody else out there, since we're doing Disney and positive stuff, is who is going to run in the runDisney Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend? If so, you are, which event, because there's a 5K, 10K, half marathon, and then a challenge that's, I think, the 10K and the half marathon, which sounds insane to me. So who's going to do this next year? Which one are you doing? Because this isn't only Disney, but it's positive because you're getting yourself in shape even more, right?
Yeah.
How is that for tying in our new
Way to go.
name and
That's
branding
impressive.
and all that stuff? I'm working on that. So are you going to run it?
Yes. Okay, so here's
There's
here's
an
the thing.
if. You have like a month to figure this out. You know that, right?
No, that's not what the if is. I plan on doing the 5K next January. The problem is...
Oh, at the 5K?
Yeah?
Oh, no problem. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Do you think I was going to do the half?
Yeah.
He doesn't know me. Anyway,
We talked about it at one point. That's why I'm
not... Like, we talked about building up to the half.
got a year.
Like, anyway.
5K you can totally walk.
You can walk,
5K
but there are also pacers. So
But
if you
you'll
ever,
have, from what I've heard, you'll have no problem with
But
it.
if you ever get tapped by a pacer, you gotta... So,
It's chalk walk. That's 5K.
yeah, I know.
Go ahead.
My thing is, this is the first runDisney race in 5 or so years, like 5+ years. And everybody and their mother is going to be trying to register for this.
True.
So that is my only holdback, is if I can't get into the registration.
Don't you think
process.
the 5K is probably going to be the one that goes the fastest too?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I might end up doing a bigger race because that's what I get into. But yeah, so
So anybody in the chat, have you done a 5K, 10K, or half marathon? If so,
I haven't.
what is the one you're going to... We've done 5Ks.
Well, like I haven't run one.
True.
Also, I have asthma. So if you
too.
Okay.
We're going to have fun.
If you have asthma and you've run a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon, please tell me about it and tell me how you didn't die.
And also let us know which one you think we should do, since we have a month to make this decision. And do you think it's doable to do a half marathon in a year? I think it is.
And we aren't runners.
I used to be.
I was
So
never.
in high school, because it was cold, my friend Dan and I would run the halls of our high school, because everything is indoors there as opposed to
Yeah,
here where they're
everything's
just
outdoor.
buildings all over the place.
Yeah.
But we could run there was basically 3 buildings that were all interconnected. That you could run the top floor, and then you could run the bottom floor. And we'd basically, the moment school ended at 2:26 or whatever, we would do that until drama rehearsal for whatever show was going on. And we'd run for a couple hours, and we figured out that we were easily running 10 miles a day through the halls of our, and like teachers.
That is the most Mr. Dapp story. That is so Mr. Dapp. Oh yes, I was doing this funny thing, and then I just realized I was running 10 miles a day.
Well, the best part is
gosh.
the cross country coach was my math teacher, my algebra teacher. and he wasn't the kindest guy in the world to me. And I had a really hard time, like now looking back at it, my brain hadn't developed to a point yet where I could understand some of the concepts of math.
Yeah.
Because like a year later, it was like, oh, this totally makes sense. Like it just didn't click. And so I had to do everything by rote, and it was just a lot harder. But he wasn't the kindest about it. And then when he realized how far Dan and I were running, he tried to recruit us for the cross country. And we're like, nah, thanks. But then we did run with them. Like we'd run past them and beat them just to show what we could do.
And that's why you're always kind to people.
Yeah.
Like, let that be a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
No, I never have run. I've never liked running. I've never been good at running. But last year, last year, one of my best friends got really into running, and now it's like all she does. So
there's a coach. You're saying we have a coach.
Yes.
There you go.
You're saying there's a coach.
Yeah.
No. We also, like, she's gonna run with us.
Well, she's gonna do the half.
She's gonna
marathon.
like actually run.
Like she's gonna do the
she
real
like
thing.
runs real marathons.
Yeah, and Murray does too.
Yeah.
So like we have people that can help us.
We're just gonna be like,
hey guys.
we're gonna say hi.
Say hi to the camera.
We're part of it. So yeah.
I feel like I would still wear a trilby if I was running.
I know you will.
Isn't that amazing? I think that's
No.
okay.
So here's
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm processing.
Processing.
I'm thinking, okay, because I'm thinking about what matters.
Okay.
And what matters is coffee on race day. Do you think the Starbucks is going to open that early?
I know someone who could make it happen.
I know someone who'll be running a half marathon.
Yeah, they're not the ones. They just make it happen. They don't have to be there.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I was thinking it through because I know that Starbucks has been open when there have been previous run because it's been open since 2014.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Or you just stop on the way in.
On the way in where?
I don't know. There's some that get open really early. Like, I've stopped at Starbucks on the way to Chalk Walks, and I feel like they're about the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like it's doable.
I don't know.
All right, these things are all good things to know. Like, this is, we've got a month to figure out what exactly we're going to do. 5K, 10K, half marathon. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
There are fake marathons.
There are. Well, there's also virtual marathons, which aren't fake.
Those aren't fake. We have, so I'm gonna tell Clocky a little thing. I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm not just gonna tell Clocky.
Everybody else mute.
Everybody else, don't listen. No, we actually have a joke.
Earmuffs.
Speaking of half marathon, fake half marathon, we have a joke that we one time saw a TikTok of a bride that made her entire wedding party run the morning of the wedding.
Oh my.
Yeah, we don't. No, not a chance. I'm like, on your
That
wedding
would
day?
be funny though, is like if somebody got married while they were running the half marathon.
Somebody might get engaged while they're running that.
No. I'm thinking like you have the pastor running next to them.
Everybody's running.
Yes, everybody's running. The bride and the groom or whatever running next to him, and they're like, "Do you? Yeah, you know, like it'd
No,
be
but if
hilarious."
they're doing that-
and then you could get married as you run through the castle.
But if they're doing that, they're so in shape because like running is their passion.
Okay, well the
So
pastor's
you know
the
they're
only
just
one.
like.
The pastor might be.
So anyway, the point of the fake marathon is that Hopper is our friend that runs a lot. Our friend Mark and I have said that if Hopper makes us do that on her wedding day, we will simply kind of lag behind, wait until no one can see us, get in a car, go out to lunch, then pull up to where everyone's finishing, kind of splash some water on ourselves, and run like we pretend that we ran it. So, yes, there is such a thing as a fake marathon, and Mark and I may someday run it for Hopper's wedding day.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so comments, let us know what you think we should do. Let us know if you're going to be doing it as well. And that doesn't mean we'll all end up together, but we'll have this shared experience with 13,000 of our closest friends. I don't know how many. I'm just using chalk as a... yeah, see? Clocky's got it right. Full mass during the run. Altar boys, priest. I love it. It's great. take communion from the rivers of America. No,
You take that back.
isn't that how you do it though? Don't they have to take communion during it? Yeah, I think they take.
From the rivers of America?
Sure.
That's putrid.
If you can make it through that, you can make it
That
through
is
anything.
not the blood of Christ.
Well, no. All right. Speaking of wine, though.
That was good. I can't even argue with that. That was solid.
Carthay Circle Restaurant has unveiled its winter seasonal menu. You're welcome. That was really good. So here's the funny part about today is Katie just got off work 25 minutes ago. Well, I guess a little bit more than that, 46 minutes ago. We had a glitch on the website last night, so I'm going on 2 hours of sleep. So you're getting like the most who knows what episode ever. I was up reading this great book until about the King Charles, that Katie got me for Christmas.
I did that.
And then I just happened to go like, oh, did my midnight posts post? Because we've had a few glitches going on with the site. And it didn't. So then I went to fix it. And then in the process of going to fix it, I was like, hey, something's wrong here. And it led me on this 3 or 4 hour rabbit trail of trying to figure out why the site looked so weird. And then, of course, our buddy Chris, who has been doing some behind-the-scenes work for us on the coding, I text him in the morning when I wake up, and he's like, oh, I'll take a look in a couple minutes. And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, fixed. And I'm like...
So the funniest thing about all of this, usually when Mr. Daps can tell I have fallen asleep, he won't text me anymore because he knows that if I'm working, I don't sleep with my phone on Do Not Disturb because I have to be able to be available. I wake up to like 5 or 6 texts.
all annoyed.
All I see is like your name, 6 texts.
I know,
and
all
I
of
was
mine
like,
were annoyed.
oh my God, did someone die?
Yes, the
Like,
website. That is a person to me.
But
All right. Carthay Circle Restaurant has its winter menu.
yeah.
And what are you excited about, Katie? What was on it? What you wrote the story?
I did write the story. Can you bring it up though?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just.
I mean, maybe. I couldn't
make things
bring it up at 3 this morning.
Big. I'm so sorry to everyone who's like willingly watching this.
This might be the best episode ever. Like these are the good ones.
It's good when we're unhinged and not thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I am really excited about the eggnog cheesecake.
Yeah, that one looked really good.
Sometimes the desserts at Carthay Circle can be a little hit or miss for me because they can be a little like sometimes. And like my sister's a pastry chef. I love you. You're my sister. Big fan of you. But sometimes desserts can be very like
Over the top.
like it almost like loses the essence of being a dessert because it's taking itself so seriously. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Sure.
So the eggnog cheesecake looks really good. There's also like a rich chocolate cake or something that sounds really good. But for the...
Do you want to say what that cake was?
Manjari chocolate decadent
Because I wasn't going to try to say that.
Of course you would say that. Sphere ice.
Sphere ice is amazing.
Sphere ice.
What?
Sphere ice.
Yes.
So for the like dinner though, I'm really excited about they have a chicken on the menu, and when
Is that the roasted Rocky free range?
roasted Rocky free range chicken.
So it's broccoli, dried cranberry salad, lemon thyme vinaigrette with
I
this
just wish
chicken.
it was on like a rice base or whatever,
And to me, I want it on mashed potatoes.
or mashed potatoes.
Like
would
that's
also
all.
work,
That's what I
which
want.
we always get mashed potatoes at Carthay anyway.
Yeah.
Because at the alfresco dining, there is a African chicken breast with turmeric rice.
You might as well just call it cracked chicken.
It is the
It's good.
best, like in my opinion, it is the best bite at the Disneyland Resort right now. Like, and it's consistently good.
Oh, that's hitting a high. Ooh, I hadn't thought of it that far.
It's consistently good. It's not just like, oh, we got it one time and it was great. Every time we have gotten it, it is one of the best things.
Okay.
There's this thing going around TikTok called like Marry Me Chicken, which is like a chicken that you make when you want someone to propose. This is my Marry Me Chicken. So I'd like to try the chicken entree, but we all know that I will not stray. Although there's not a New York on the. So
You might actually end up trying
might
this
actually try
because
it,
it looks like they put braised beef.
Braised beef. There's also a tamale in the starters that I'm excited about. That looks really good. And I've wanted to try the raviolis.
What do you think about the steamed black mussels and shrimp?
That does not sound like it's for me.
So we should video you eating it.
In refreshing green chili broth with toasted bread. I do love toasted bread because I am a small mouse.
Okay.
But, and I mean, the potato croquettes, they already had something very similar, if they are not the same thing.
They were good, though.
Yeah.
If I recall.
I won't do the ceviche, I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
I would do the ceviche.
I'm not a ceviche person.
Okay. I would try it.
Overall, Carthay Circle is kind of like becoming one of my favorite places on property.
And everything's good.
Like, honestly, and that's the biggest thing about Carthay, is you're never going to get something and be like, oh, this is cooked horribly. Oh, this isn't good. You're always going to get something that's delicious. Even if you don't necessarily like it for your tastes.
It's still good.
It's still going to be something that's good.
Yep.
So I was super stoked to see the winter menu come out. I hope that we go soon.
My only question was, why did it come out? Like, I get that it came out when it's actually winter. But to me, I would have almost lined it up with more of like the seasonality of what the parks are celebrating.
I was going to say, because eggnog cheesecake is holidays. That's not winter.
To me, I would have been eating that anytime after, what is it, November 11th or whatever they started the holidays. And
but I think
I will drink eggnog year round. Like, I've made eggnog in the summer and it's almost better then. But
it used to be a summer drink.
It's true.
All those whacking down trees. I'm so sorry.
I don't know where you're going.
I don't know either.
Oh, okay.
Where am I? No, but I think they're following like a traditional like restaurant or hotel type menu where it's like, oh no, it is literally
winter.
December 21st. It is winter time.
So you got a few months.
So we had the fall menu a few times and we loved that. So I'm very excited.
I mean, in some ways, it's a blessing the steak is gone.
Because now we have to try something else.
Yeah, because we kind of were falling into a habit. But
well, you always get the pork chop.
Not last time.
That's true. You got the New York last time.
I did. Actually, I've gotten it twice now.
Wow, Mr. Daps is branching out.
Branching out.
We're both creatures of habit.
All right.
So.
Things that aren't habit is driving down to Palm Springs.
That's sure not
where
a
they
habit.
have the Palm Springs Air Museum that has Walt Disney's plane, also known as the Mouse, in an exhibit that's very similar to what was seen at the D23 Expo. However, it is very different as well.
You can touch it.
You can touch it. You can walk among the planes. You can walk under the plane. You can walk around the plane.
You can hit your head on a plane.
And people do.
Yeah.
This was a very pleasant surprise. I think we went down expecting to be like, oh, cool, we'll see a little bit closer what we saw at D23 Expo, and there'll be some other fun planes. And
so what
great.
I expected was a museum with some planes, and then in this one random room, it was going to be like, and here's Walt Disney's plane, and we were going to take
going
to take 10 minutes and be like, cool, we saw it. What do we do in Palm Springs? We drove 2.5 hours to be here.
Hey, Drew, you bored?
Come hang out with us.
Yeah.
Let's go look at Story Living.
Yeah, which we also did.
Which we did. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah. No, I think Terrence's totally right. Is they didn't trust the Disney fans.
Oh,
I actually don't think it was just specifically the Disney fans. It's the multitude of people that were passing through that room at the
In
D23
such a
Expo.
short span of time.
Whereas at this place, there was maybe a dozen people in this massive hangar spread out with, what, probably 6, 8, 10 planes?
I would
don't know.
say 10 planes.
And so you've got basically a plane per group, tops. And they've got
like,
docents walking around. Like, it's...
Imagine the most, like, a kid playing with toys, and they kind of tried to find a way to layer them. So the wing is over the body of one plane, and
it's actually like a working hangar.
Yeah,
like,
it's amazing.
When I worked at an airport in high school, that was actually part of my job, was to pull these different smaller planes into, and you basically Jenga'd as many, or not Jenga'd, Tetris'd as many planes as you could in each hangar, and they already knew how many could fit in there. So if you didn't get them in, you're in trouble.
I would love a time lapse of them putting the mouse in there. Like, I would love it.
Yeah, I think that would be very cool. I also think they put it in first they did the event. It hasn't moved. They backed all these other planes in, and they fit in very easily. Like there
Yeah.
wasn't anything that was like, ooh, that looked hard.
No.
Everything looked very natural. But seeing Walt's plane is just the beginning of this experience because they've got so many other planes basically from the beginning of aviation up till almost today. And you can walk around all of these things. I think the only one you can't really go up to and touch is the F-117 Nighthawk.
Yeah.
And
that we still felt like we were too close to that.
yeah,
Like that was scary.
that one I've grown up thinking that's top secret and like, oh, this is what they show only at like Rose Bowl parades and
So that was really
the flyovers.
That was really funny, right? Because that had a room that had like comical top secret things on
Everything
it, right?
was closed.
Yeah, so like the front of the hangar was closed, the doors were closed. It was like, ooh, top secret. But I saw people going in, so I was like, okay, let's go. And you were like, no.
Are we supposed to
You're like, no,
yeah.
we can't. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like they're making a joke about like, oh, it's the Nighthawk, you can't. And then we go in, and you were like, oh my gosh. And then I went to take a photo, and you said, no, I don't think we can do that. And I was like, yeah, we can. Like
It literally felt like you were gonna get in trouble. Like,
well, it was also a very dark hangar. Like they made it to be very like.
well, in doing research, I've done 2 posts on this now. One's on MrDaps.net, and then the other one's on DapsMagic.com.
It's working.
But what we learned, or I learned, is when they brought the plane to the museum, they actually stripped all the black paint off of it that would make it stealthy. So I'm guessing that's fake black paint that they've painted the plane with, which I found very interesting, which means it wasn't as top secret as...
But it was still very fun. Like that was a highlight for me. There's
Tomcat
also
was cool.
a random X-Wing.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure why that was there.
The Memphis Belle was there.
There was also gosh, why am I
Mustang was there.
Why am I blanking
Spitfire
on
was
his
there.
name? There was a big movie plane there, and
Oh, the Learjet?
Columbo.
Oh, so the plane wasn't there, but they had an exhibit about the plane
exhibit
there.
about the plane.
So there was a
yes.
Learjet, and I'm forgetting which model it was, but it took place from the 70s. And there's this terrible but hilarious movie called The In-Laws that Peter Falk, who played Columbo, was in with Alan Arkin. And basically, Peter Falk is this crazy lunatic, and Alan Arkin is a dentist, and they end up on a adventure together. And I'm pretty sure, looking at the pictures, they used the Palm Springs airport as a South American airport that's like where the drug lord is. And it was absolutely hilarious because they had like pictures of him, and it's the point where it's one of the dumbest parts in the movie is they're getting shot at when they get off the plane, and Peter Falk is yelling serpentine, and that basically means you have to run around in circles. And it was very fun to see that. And there was but like a ton of celebrities have been on that plane. Other movies had used it for that plane and shows. And
there was also
but the plane wasn't there.
Top Gun exhibit.
And the Top Gun exhibit. Mm-hmm.
Which I then walked up to, because I just watched Top Gun for the first time a week and a half ago.
Congratulations.
I think. Something like that. My parents want me to watch Maverick. It's one of my parents' favorite.
I really liked it.
I'm going to watch it now.
You need to.
But Top Gun is one of my parents' favorite movies of all time, so I literally just watched it for the first time. Which also, it's really sad to watch a movie that you know something tragic that happens in. Mm-hmm. But I immediately walked up and I just went, do, 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 do,
and then you started reading the caption and you're like, wait!
That's just the opening of the movie.
Yes, it was pretty funny.
It was the whole, like, in 1960 or whatever.
And that was a cool room because that also had the big transport cockpit that you could climb up into, which was very cool. There was a C-47 outside that was very cool. Especially if you were into World War II, that's what they used to drop paratroopers. It's also during the Berlin airlift. That is one of the main planes that kept Berlin in Allied hands when they were cut off.
One of my favorite hangars was definitely the World War II era.
Mm-hmm. Which one? There was kind of 2.
The
one with the Memphis Belle, or the
one that Walt Disney's plane was in.
Okay, I actually think that was probably meant to be 50s, 60s. as I was going back and looking at pictures and stuff.
That back wall was all World
War
War
II.
stuff,
But
though.
it was a weird, yeah.
It was very strange. But welcome to Geeks Corner Plus, first one of the year. It's very fun because I don't know if some of you know, but I do have a World War II pinup tattoo, like a Sailor Jerry. And it's so interesting to see these like genuine pinups on the planes and on like the wartime posters and all these things. And
I still think that one was Shere Khan.
I don't know.
I think it was at least inspired by Shere Khan.
Possibly inspired.
Like the jawline, the face, like it was Shere Khan.
We also saw something in that same room, and it was so interesting because there was some things that were donated by families of people that had served. And there was this one, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, this is so interesting. And it was about this bugle boy. And I'm like looking at it, and it's his uniforms, and it's all these things. It's about how he never stopped playing until the day he passed away in like the mid-90s. But as I'm reading more, I'm like, wait, he was playing for Memorial Day at the Westminster Cemetery, which is pretty local to us. And then I realized that this guy was a Fountain Valley native, was a bugle boy, and continued to play for Veterans Day up until he passed away, which I thought was really cool. And I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting something like that. But yeah,
So definitely go out and see it. Check
really
out the
rad.
article. Check out the vlog as well. And you will love it. Looks like Jeff got to go on Sentimental Journey, which they do give plane rides for a certain price, depending on which plane you go on is different price. And it's very, very much worth going down and seeing. I don't know if I actually want to go on one of the planes. Like, I'd rather see them go off than, especially after some of the news lately. But
I have too much anxiety.
But it was very cool and great for taking pictures. I put a lot up on both sites that you can check out. But we are in Geeks Corner Plus time. If you have any comments or questions before we wrap this thing up, now is a good time to tell us.
Whenever I think of flying in small planes, I'm just going to say things that are in my head, which is normally how talking works. I think of there's a John Mulaney bit where he talks about like getting on to an unnamed airline. He goes, if this goes down, it won't even be in the news. It'll just be like, anyway, this happened. And that is what I think of every time small planes. It's what I anyway. There's a piece of like Christmas tree maybe that I'm playing with. I'm really tired, guys.
We didn't have a Christmas tree. It was a Geek Miss tree.
Oh,
Geek Miss
my
tree.
bad. This must be nothing then.
That's it. That has to be it.
You
All
guys
right.
are watching me be gaslit in real time. Also, this is episode 1313. This is my episode, unless you didn't update that.
I think I did.
Is this episode 1313?
It's very possible.
This is the episode of Katie!
We just now figured it out
I
as
should
we're
have talked
running
more.
out of time.
No, I saw it
predictions for
again.
2023. You have any big predictions?
I wish that I was smart enough to have one of those, like, bingo list notes in my phone, but I'm not. I don't know.
We're going to get a park expansion somewhere.
I don't
It'll
know.
be announced in September. For either, probably Animal Kingdom, maybe Magic Kingdom.
Mr. Gap scares me sometimes because he will speak things into existence. And like the way that
The way what?
I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I read something.
All right.
and
Well,
it threw
you're
me off.
fading. So what should people do, Katie?
You should go to dapsmagic.com. Check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens. Subscribe to our mailing list. Find our Patreon.
In fact, go to our Patreon right after this show because we put up perhaps the first and only to date blooper reel that I'm aware that I have been in. There might be one other from way back in the day, Geeks Corner.
He doesn't like blooper reels.
I don't really do the blooper things. I don't like them on extras on
neither.
my movie reviews, but I did post one. I think it's actually kind of funny. You can check it out on the Patreon. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we got a few things coming up in the next few weeks, including new fireworks, new World of Color, and the return of Magic Happens. And we hope to have the best videos for all of these. And when you subscribe to our Patreon, that actually helps us update our equipment so we can continue to have the best. And we will be working towards upgrading some equipment hopefully this year. But that is all the time we have for you this week. So we will see you around the corner.
Bye.